So I'm Alex Roy with Fastlane Daily, and we're interviewing racing legend and champion Alex Zanardi.
Well, thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely. And Alex is joining us here at the SEMA show 2007, and it's a great honor to be sitting here with this legend today. So I just finished reading your book. Obviously, we followed your career for a long time. I'd like to ask you a question about the beginning of your career. You started originally in karting.
Yeah, that's correct. Back in 1980, believe it or not. Well, dinosaurs were still around going in the streets.
I don't think you're that much older than me, but I have a question. Now, today, a lot of young fans of Fastlane, a lot of young fans of driving, play video games before they actually do any go-karting. Do you think that someone who's young can start out playing video games and learn enough about driving dynamics to have a future in motorsport?
I think it would be very difficult to just play video games and then jump on a go-kart or on a racing car and be right away competitive. But it's a fantastic supplement, yeah. And if you have already some experience, like in go-karts, you could learn a circuit, or you could improve your technique with the technology that is now available in video games, because they are fantastic.
Now, have you played Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport?
Yeah, Gran Turismo is my favorite, actually.
And in Gran Turismo, which track is your favorite track?
I like them all. Of course, for me, Monza and Mugello are the favorites because I know them very well, so I know some tricks, like how to cut over curves.
That's considered cheating in some cases, and Forza Motorsport won't let you do that.
Well, they say 2 wheels on the black stuff, you know, so if the other part of the car is on the other side, that's fine.
I'm not going to invite Alex to my house for any Forza and GT4 championships. Now, of course, you know, this notion of the Zanardi donut after a race. A lot of fans of Fastlane like to make donuts. What is the correct technique to make the perfect Zanardi donut?
Well, first of all would be to have the right car, at least with the right amount of power under the trunk. It's much easier if it's a rear-wheel driven car, because with a front-wheel driven car, if you can spin a donut with it, you would be really good, but it would have to be done on reverse. In any case, it's not really difficult. I mean, you get the car to a stop, you put some power, you put it in gear, you let the clutch go, you spin the car around by, of course, turning the wheel. And then the big secret is not to give too much throttle. So you need to keep the tire biting the ground a bit, but not too much. And that will eventually, you know, start to rotate the car in a way where the car is actually pivoting on the front axle. And that is the real donut, because you see a lot of drivers going like one end and then spinning and then coming back and then spinning again. That's not a real donut.
That's probably why the New York Audi Quattro Club has not so much success with donuts. Now, one of my favorite cars to play in Gran Turismo, obviously Acura NSX. Now we have the Zanardi Acura NSX. How does it feel to have a car named after you? And have you ever played the NSX in GT4?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry about that, but I've driven the real car, so I'm very, very proud. I was incredibly proud at the time Honda announced that they were going to make that car, and I actually have one myself. So sorry, guys, but I'm a bit luckier than you, because I can drive the real thing without having to, you know, go through the simulation. It's a great car. Still looks very, very modern, although it was designed, yeah, a few years ago now. So
if you ever come to New York City, you are invited to my apartment on the big screen to play Gran Turismo. I have the steering, I have everything, but we cannot play the NSX. It's not allowed head-to-head, no way. But I have a serious question for you, which is, you know, obviously, after your accident many years ago, you did incredible things with technology of driving and controls, and you made faster lap times in some tracks than even before. But I have a question, which I always thought about when I read your book. Even before I read it, did you always know you would continue driving? Was there ever even any doubt in your mind that you would continue to drive, ever?
No, I didn't know, but I would have to specify because I was, when I was in Berlin hospital, in my hospital bed, at one point we had let one journalist in, and then it was like, one after the other. The request was incredible, so I had to, of course, answer their question, and I could tell at the time that these journalists were kind of shy at the beginning. They were asking me 2 or 3 questions to taste the situation, and then the 4th question in line was always, will you ever go back to a racing car? And at the time I just kept saying I don't know, but it was not for me a way to push that mentally away because I was somehow hurt psychologically. It was simply something that technically I didn't know whether I could do it again. I knew that on this department everything was as it was before. Whether you say good or bad, was exactly as it was before. So technically, in my head, I was still a driver. And it's the brain that decides when it's time to push the brake pedal or when it's time to go back to the throttle. But I didn't know whether technically I could push the pedals, I could steer the wheel correctly as you should do it when you have your legs. So I was curious, but it was not my number 1 priority because at the time, my number 1 priority was to be able to be independent once more in my daily life. Once that I regained that sort of self-autonomy, it was normal for me to then switch my focus on other subjects, more passionate, one of which for sure it's always been racing. And when I sat in a race car for the first time, I knew there was a way that technology would have helped me to find a way to connect my brain once more to the race car, because that's, at the end of the day, is what really matters. And so whether you brake with your foot or whether you brake with something else, as long as you do it efficiently, the result, the outcome should be more or less the same. I haven't found a way to do it perfectly yet, because I want to believe that if I would have won more races so far. But I'm very proud of the fact that I became the first handicap athlete that has won a World Championship event among a group of professional drivers, and that is it's been a huge satisfaction, which I thought it was possible to do. Yeah.
What's very interesting about you and your book is that very few books about motorsport drivers were ever really written by them or with their cooperation, often written by a ghostwriter or someone else. And when I was reading your book, I kept thinking to myself, many athletes look at a goal and say, it's impossible. Oh, it's possible. But in your case, I kind of felt like if it was possible, you would find out, and you did. Do you have a message for young drivers, fans of Fastlane Daily, who want to get into motorsports, a simple message of inspiration that could pull them ahead the way you were pulled ahead?
Well, I really believe that in life you have to try. And even if your dream is so far away that it seems to be impossible for you to get there, if you don't try, it means that you're not going to start. To end something, you have to start it first. So once that you have started, the way you can, from where you are, along the way, if you're lucky enough, you will find the right occasions, the right opportunity, something happening to you. So you're going to meet somebody, you're going to bump into a guy that is going to believe in you and take you end by end far away. I don't know, but if you don't try, if you don't start, you're never going to find out whether you can be lucky enough to fulfill your dream. But always keep that ultimate goal like a dream, a nice dream in your drawer, that you need to look at it sometime, but you cannot set this as an objective, because otherwise you look too far away and you lose focus on the little obstacles that are on the road, and you will keep fall, So you have to think logically what is achievable today, focus on that, set your list of priorities, but by achieving little goals, you're going to keep getting closer and closer and closer to your dream. So maybe one day, after you've won some races in the GP2, you can say, yeah, now to drive Formula 1 for me is an objective. It's not longer a dream. or after you won some races in the bush, you can say now to drive in the Nextel Cup for me is not longer a dream, is an objective. But you know, just start, do your part, which is only yours. At the beginning is only yours, and then of course some may make it, some may won't, and this is not always a question of talent. It's also a question of luck, because luck can effectively you know, change things for us. But once again, you have to start, you have to try, and then along the way everybody's career is going to be influenced by different factors.
And in some cases, you'll be stuck with GT4. Alex Zanardi, great to meet you. I really appreciate your time today.